Hi, I'm Donna Baker at GenoHistory.com. If you're anything like me, your love of books has taken over your home. Stacks of dusty books kicking up your allergies, overflowing shelves, maybe even a few duplicates, because let's be honest, who remembers everything they own? Today, I'm going to walk you through how I finally took control of my collection using Zotero without giving up a single book. And trust me, it's easier than you think. Okay, so here's Zotero. Hopefully you're already familiar with it. You can install it if you haven't already by going to zotero.org. You can get it for free, and it does most of what you'll need forever for free. But there are some things that you eventually may want to pay for. I used it for 17 years and then realized how much more wonderful it was when I paid. So either way, you win. All right, so putting a book in, Zotero has made this so easy. It revolutionized graduate school for me because you enter so much data then, but it takes as much of the pain out of it as it can. Most books have an ISBN number on them, and using that, you don't have to do more data entry than the ISBN number. Let me show you a book that I needed to put into my storage box this week as I began to get all of these books off of my walls and into a place where they're actually safer and I can breathe easier. The ISBN number, you get to this little add items by identifier tool on the toolbar. You click on it and it can take any number of IDs. You see those listed there. I usually have ISBN numbers. So I'm typing in the one on this book. All right, and when you hit enter, it goes and looks and sees if it can find it. And if it does, it pulls it into your system like this. So over here in the pane, I've got all the data. And as you can see, it's pretty robust data. If it would have taken me a while to type all of that, and I almost certainly wouldn't have typed it all correctly. Sometimes, here's the tag icon. Sometimes when you click on the tag, when you've pulled in a book like this, it already has subject headings. If it came out of a library, they will have already attached subject headings to it. I'm not going to attach subject headings right now, but you can certainly do that if you want to. It's a good way to later organize your stuff virtually on your screen without having to actually sort things manually. But with this book, I have put it in a particular box in the basement. And so I want to drag it to that tag right here. So the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass is in box 11. So I'm pulling it down to the bottom left corner into box 11, a tag I created. I've created a tag for each box. I also have a tag if something is going to stay on my office shelves. Reference books. There are some things that just need to stay near me in my office. If I'm working on a particular research project, the books related specifically to that project may be brought back up from the stacks, my basement, to the shelf in my office. So then I would revise where they were in Zotero and keep up with them at all times. If you've lent to somebody, you lend books out to friends, you might also want to put tags in for their name so you know where your book disappeared to. If you've bought books on Kindle, mark that, tag that as Kindle in case you later don't remember. You remember you had the book, you just don't remember where it was, then you can keep up with where it was. You can also keep up with what you want to read and what you have read. With this one, I've read it, so I'm going to drag this over read as well. I also happen to do this orange coded on hand tag so that no matter where a book is sitting now, what box it's in, I know I can pull up a list of everything that is in my possession. All right, so sometimes though, you're not going to have an ISBN number. And sometimes your book is going to be very old. If you were coming through graduate school as I was many years ago, your books may be ancient. And back then I was buying used books that were already ancient when I bought them. They could have been re-edited and republished many times since I bought my copy. So you want to make sure that as you do this, you get the correct information of the book as it was when you got it. Now, one of the best places to go if the ISBN number's not on it, and the book I'm about to do doesn't have one, is to go to worldcat.org. All right, so I've already got that open here. And it's a book called The Freedom of Thought Struggle in the Old South. It was republished in 1964, and that's the copy I have, which on the front, by the way, and a pretty heavy book, is priced at $2.95. But it had originally been published in 1940. It had no ISBN number on it. So I want to make sure I have the right one. I'm pretty sure this is it, but you can see all formats and editions if you don't see the one you're looking for. And of course, it's giving me a little trouble, but let me go back and just go straight into this one since I know it's the right book. Okay, so once you've opened the book in WorldCat, or if you use some other online catalog that has a lot of things that can be useful, or your own university catalog, your own public your public library catalog can also often be used in this as well. When you found it, and if you've got Zotero connector as an add-on in your browser, you just come up and you click on the book. Now, if it doesn't look like a book, don't click on it yet. Give it a second to recognize that what it's looking at is a book. And when it turns into the little blue book, click on it, and it's going to be sent into Zotero, which is open behind it. You notice that the titles come through in lowercase most of the time. I like to just go through while I'm at it and do title case on them. You might like to leave them as they are. But it did a pretty good job of bringing this information in as well. And it's also going into box 11, which happens to be my open box right now. I'm marking it as on hand. And so that's the way you do it with this, making it very easy. I think, I saw my notes in it, so I know I read this back in graduate school as well. And you see that because I've used little icons in my tag names, that they pop up here to show me at a glance the situation with these books. Now, one thing that might be different is if you're trying to do something like you're trying to keep up with journals that you acquire, you're a part of a historical association, or you have a subscription to a magazine, and you like to save those. Well, you probably don't want to go through the entire magazine cataloging every article in it or every journal article. By all means do if you want to take that time. But for me, I usually just want to reflect that I have that issue, so that if I see somebody citing something in that magazine in a being used in a book later, I know that I have the magazine and I can go down and find the box it's in and get it out. So with that, I usually will take a magazine I've already done for that particular thing. Like in this case, Alabama Heritage magazine issue 151 is already in my system. And to save myself time, I am going to just duplicate the item and make a few changes. So now I've got 2 copies of it in here, right here and right here. And the one that's active at the top, I'm going to change because the magazine that I'm looking at now is issue 154. It's fall 2024. And I'm going to change this to fall here. Now, as you can see, the original one, before I duplicated it, was in box 6. This isn't box 6. I could delete this and drag it into box 11, but no need. I'll just backspace and make that box 11. And with that much work, I have logged this, and it goes into box 11 too. I don't worry about grouping all like things together in here because that takes so much time and stress, and you end up with one box that's overflowing and one box that has 2 things in it. So I don't bother with that. As soon as I have something that needs to go in a box, it goes into the next box that I'm working on. And because Zotero can do the organizing for me and tell me how to find my way there. It's very easy. Now, the one thing that might happen, as for me, I've done hundreds of books and it's only happened once, is that you have an ISBN number and it doesn't bring anything up, or there is no ISBN number, and you can't find it in WorldCat. You could try Amazon if it's a newer book. If it's not there too, all you have is the book in your hand to prove the book exists, then you can come over here to the new item button on the toolbar and click and then say book, and just it brings up a blank book and you can fill in the detail yourself. Don't worry, you won't have to do that very often. It's just very rare that you don't find it in one of these other sources. So this is how it works, and it can so quickly give you a peace of mind over what you have. Know this, as I did this, I kept finding books that were already in here I had already put in an earlier box. So I had 2 copies. I had multiple times I had 2 copies. So this can really save you as you start to shop for books in the future. Ask yourself, let me check Zotero. Do I have this book already? So I hope you'll give this a try, because it becomes so fast, so quickly as you get used to what you're doing. You're going to be amazed at how rapidly the shelves empty into boxes, or you can put them back on the shelves, but from now on, you know what's there. So that's how you do it. With a few simple steps, your books are now cataloged, easy to find, and your shelves, your allergies can breathe a little easier. If you found this helpful, go ahead and try it yourself. And let me know in the comments if you discover a system that works even better for you. And if you want to dive deeper, check out my book, A Quick Guide to Zotero 7. See you next time, and happy organizing.